All right, Libby, thanks for being with us today. You're going to tell your yoga story to our audience on social media. And I'd love to start off with a different question and ask you, what's something that surprised you as you got to know yoga?
Yeah, so I think what surprised me the most is how quickly I became addicted to it and how quickly I saw results. So I found yoga when I was in college. I was 20 years old, which looking back, I'm really, really happy and really lucky that I was so young when I found it, because I've been doing it ever since. And I went to it because I was like, oh yeah, this is hot yoga, it's intense yoga, I'm gonna lose all this weight, I'm gonna look amazing, I'm gonna be skinny, and I'm gonna do yoga, I'm gonna be so cool. But obviously that's not what I found at all when I came. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done, but right away I was just at the end of my first class, I came with my friend and I looked at my friend and we were both like, whoa, it was amazing. And then, so I practiced for a semester, and then I went abroad for a semester, and I was living in Latin America at the time for 6 months, and I was practicing every day in my little room. I'd barely done it, and I was just I had to keep doing the postures. There was just something about it that was so addictive. And then when I came back, I started seeing results instantly. I was practicing 4 or 5 days a week, and I noticed I was, at first I couldn't even touch my hands to the floor, and then all of a sudden I could look at my knees, and in between the little gap in your knees at the floor, and so quickly my body started changing, and I started feeling amazing, and I started sleeping better, and I started eating better, and just so many great things were happening. And I didn't think that was going to be at all what happened when I started yoga.
So you saw benefits right away, kind of in your life and in your practice as well.
Yeah.
Why do you say you started eating better? How does that correlate with doing yoga?
Well, so they always, when you first start doing yoga, everyone tells you don't eat 2 hours before, make sure you drink a lot of water. And they don't do that just because they want to say that. They do that because if you eat less, or less than 2 hours before, and you try to do this yoga, or you haven't drinking anything, or you just had beer the night before, you feel absolutely terrible, and you get nothing out of class. So when you come to yoga, you need to really make sure that you have hydrated well, and you have eaten well, and your best self, because standing there in the hot room for 90 minutes feeling sick to your stomach is one of the most miserable things, and doesn't make you want to come to yoga. And if you want to keep seeing results, and you want to keep doing this thing that makes your body feel so good, you want to make sure that you're fueled enough to be able to do it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so you found yoga in college, and a lot of people I've talked to found it later in life. How do you think that kind of influenced your college career, having that yoga practice as part of, I think college sometimes can be a time when you're not really scheduled as much as you should be or could be. How did that help you in college?
It helped me so much maintain my stress level in college. I would sit on the bus, the Wildcat Transit from Durham to Portsmouth, reading my books, doing my homework, take a yoga class, go back to the same thing. It gave me that time in between my really crazy, because I went right through with grad school. My senior year was my first year of grad school, and then I kept going for 2 more years afterwards. And I really swear without this yoga, I don't know if I would have made it through, because it was so much work. And this made me stop, and it made me do something that was good for my stress level, going out. Sure, I went out with my friends and I had fun with my friends, but this was something I could do in the middle of classes, or early on a Monday morning before I had to go back in and start my week. That was just so relaxing and so de-stressing. And I think it also helped me learn to manage my stress, and help me learn what's a big deal, and what do I really need to start worrying about and focusing about, and what can I kind of let slide off and not have to worry about as much and not focus on as much. And all of that really came from doing this practice. I felt that almost immediately as well.
Awesome. So now that you're done with school, how has your yoga practice kind of transitioned and stayed in your life, and what does that look like?
Yeah, after school, it was really nice, because whenever I went home for a break, like for Christmas break or for spring break, there was no yoga studio where I lived. And then I would come back, and it was like starting over, 3-month break, and then I'd come back and I'd start over again. And when I stopped doing that break, go, and I just went, and I've been going now it's been 5 years since I graduated, so it's been 5 years straight. I've been going nonstop throughout all the seasons. That change has gotten even greater again. And I see it most with my mental state now. Before it was really physical, and then it turned into more of this learning how to be calm and be present in the moment, and how to be with yourself. And when sometimes it's really, really hard to just be alone by yourself. Even in a room full of people, in a hot room with a teacher talking at you, you're still alone by yourself, staring at yourself in the mirror for those 90 minutes.
Have you had any of those kind of little yoga miracles, as people say, like a revelation, or one day you're practicing, you say, oh, this has totally changed, or is it something that happened over time for you?
Yeah, so before I found this yoga, I didn't like who I was. I would go so far. I hated myself. I didn't like how I looked. I didn't like how I thought I was a terrible friend, a terrible daughter, a terrible sister, a terrible girlfriend, everything. I just thought I was so bad at it, and I was always like second guessing myself, and I never truly liked or accepted who I was. I'll never forget, I don't know who was teaching class, I don't know what day it was, but I remember that one day looking in the mirror at myself, and I'm like, doing pranayama or whatever, and like I smile and I just said to myself, I love you. And it was like one of those moments where like with your significant other, and like they say it first and you're just like, oh no, what did I just say, what happened? But then I sat with it and I thought about it, and I was like, oh my God, I really truly love myself. And that changed everything in my life. All these doors started opening, and like things just started happening, and I started seeing everything different and acting different, and I was just a happier person as soon as that happened. And that was definitely my yoga miracle, and I see that every day. Every day I get up out of bed, I love who I am, I'm happy to be where I am no matter where I am, and I'm just like, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to do it. And when bad stuff happens, because it's life, unfortunate stuff's always going to happen, it's so much easier to keep going and to keep pushing through and to just try to accept it and keep going with it, because I have this tool that I can use with me all the time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you talk about the yoga, can you talk about this studio in particular, and
Definitely.
What people might expect if they're coming in here for the first time, whether it's the yoga or the people or teachers?
Yes, so everybody at the studio is equally obsessed with this yoga as I am. They all love it. They eat, sleep, and breathe it. Even those who don't practice 5-6 times a week are still always here, and everybody here is so nice and so accepting, and they want you to be the best version of yourself. And everything, the teachers, the students, everything what they do, they're true, honest, genuine selves, and they really just want you to be part of the community and just be who you are meant to be. And it shows in how they teach, it shows in how they are before and after class, how they're talking with you, how you talk during class, what they're teaching you, how they're trying to help you change your postures, and just everything they do. It's such a loving, accepting community. I lived in Massachusetts for a few years before I just moved back here, and the yoga studios were just not the same anywhere else that it is right here in the great state of New Hampshire. It's amazing yoga community, and I'm so thankful and grateful every day to be a part of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw one at you. I know you just took a class.
Yeah.
Could you describe that class in one word? Like, just comes to mind right away.
Oh gosh, okay.
Well, I know everyone's different.
I know, like hot was the first one that came to mind, but like I gotta pick a different word than hot. Fun. It was really fun. Yeah, because it was the 26 plus class, which is a new class that they've been offering, and it's a little bit different, and there's music playing, so it takes you out of your head in a different way that the traditional 26 and 2 does. But it's just a really fun class. You're jamming with the music, you're trying to do these new crazy things. Everyone's like looking around being like, wait, what are we doing? And it's just a really fun environment.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So if someone's looking at this video and they are considering coming in here, they're a little nervous, what would you tell them?
So a lot of people tell me that you can do yoga because you're really flexible. I don't want to do yoga because I'm not flexible. And I wish I had taken pictures of my first week of yoga, because I was so inflexible. I couldn't touch my hands to the floor, couldn't wrap my foot around an eagle, I couldn't get my elbow down, I couldn't do any of the postures. I was always falling out, I couldn't keep my balance. And it's the yoga that made me as flexible as I am today. So that's the one thing that I want people to know. You don't need to be flexible, you don't need to be strong, you don't need to be in shape, you don't need to be fit, you don't need to be any of those things you think you need to be. Who you are right at this moment is the perfect person to walk through the doors of this yoga studio and just experience this yoga for what it is. And I guarantee you something is going to change, whether it's your body, your balance, your mental state, something's going to happen, and you're going to feel different and you're going to feel better because of this yoga.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, anything else you want to add?
Come see Bikram Yoga Portsmouth. It's awesome.
All right. Thanks so much, Libby.
Thank you.